So for that reason, magnetism is happening. So, but as you from the magnetic data, as you can see that there is some paramagnetism. So it point out to that fact that there are unpaired electrons, and for that reason, actually we have concluded that this should be the structure. So in that way, actually thing goes. So yeah, we have done a lot of overlap and all these things. So let us start something practical. I mean, let us see at these practical problems. So when we will start with these practical problems, let us also see that what we have actually learned from these this pi overlap and then sigma overlap, and what are the Dale octahedral. So these things we have learned that there is a Dale octahedral, then the ligand comes, and there is a gap between this for crystal field theory. The energy difference between the EG and T2G changes, and all these things we have learned. So and I mean, while I was trying to see that what the things that we have learned, we have not discussed much about the Jahn-Taylor distortion. This is very easy, so I will just say one or two things about this. So let us start the uh, real problems. Okay. So if you just see at these diagrams, this we can say as the summary of sigma and pi interaction in terms of d orbital energy. Right? So this is the way we can represent both the sigma interaction. We can include the sigma and the pi interaction, and this is the final picture. Because if we take all the sigma, pi, and all this thing, then we must have a very complicated structure, and we also have to learn this complicated structure as well. But in that case, if we just want to see the problems, I mean the practical uh, properties, then in most of the cases, this picture helps us a lot to understand the chemistry. So next, what we will, so here we what are the parameters? So we are, this is del 0. So what are the parameters we are dealing? So del 0, and then the parameters del 0, does it I mean, what on what factors does it depend? So we have not given much emphasis on that. So let me just tell, this is not very difficult thing. So let me tell you. So there is one point that if you have a particular m, so and I mean m1, m2, m3. So what we were telling that depending on the sigma and pi interaction, we are telling that the del 0 changes, right? We are telling that sigma and pi, we have shown you that the del 0 changes. So the obvious question is that if we have m1, m2, and m3, all these things, and if we have the ligand, let's say Cn or water, so if we keep the ligand same, will this gap remain same? So will this del 0 will remain same? No. So the question is a big no. So if that del 0 value does not depend only on the ligand, then what is the other factor? So what other factor is the metal? So you have in a complex metal and ligand, and you depending on the L, these interaction is taking place. So who is the other party? This is obviously M. And also this depends on the what is the aim, what is it, I am coming to this, what is the properties that is depend. So now how people could understand that what people have taken. So you can, I mean, this is from another book, and the things are a little bit in different way it is written. So let us just give an importance to that value of del zero in case of this a metal is varying and the ligand is changing. So in first case, the metal is varying and the ligand is fixed. And in these two cases, the metal is varying in this oxidation number, right? So what people have, so what the data says? So data says you just take that chromium. So if you have a chromium 2 plus with water, so chromium H2O whole 6 2 plus, and if you take chromium H2O whole 6 3 plus. So what is the difference? 6 water ligands, the same chromium, and they are in the octahedral field. And what is the only difference is the oxidation state of the chromium, and you can see that how the del zero value changes. So what is the how does this changes? See, the del zero value increases a lot from chromium 2 plus to chromium 3 plus. Now you can understand that. So even if the metal is the same, even if the ligand is the same, it depends on the oxidation number. So oxidation number changes del zero. So if now we take at the different oxidation number, so what does it change? So it changes the radii. So this is one of the factor, that it changes the radii of the metal atom. Number two, it changes the electrostatic interaction between the ligand. I mean, if someone has +2 charge, the appetite for the ligand electron will be different if it is in the +3 state. Now, if we go very systematically, then how would you determine that? I mean, how would you know that what are the factors, and how would you determine what are the things that are coming? So what the scientists has tried to do, that they have tried to see the enthalpy of hydration. So they have tried to find the enthalpy of hydration. And in enthalpy of hydration, when they have plotted it, you can see that they have plotted this del H for this value, and for the +2 and +3 state. And if you now go, I mean, I have this graph, maybe I do not know. Okay, I mean, you will get it in the book. So if you just see the enthalpy of hydration del H, you will see that the value is more or less, I mean, the effect that affect the del zero is more or less it is varies with the LFSE value. Now, so it means that the E is at which now this enthalpy changes. Now you can say that is more or less. I am telling you that this is more or less. So it is not exact. So what are the point that actually is del H is not exactly corresponds to LFSE? So what is the reason for that? Because so what is the difference? Because here you have the ligand is coming. So I mean, the concept is that L is there in the space, and it is approaching the A. So there is a change in the electrostatic environment. And you know that when it up to some point of time there will be attraction and after that will repulsion. So here you can vary. I mean the factor you can say the electronegativity in the Pauling scale, that it varies according to that. Number two is, and the most important factor is radii, ionic radii of the metal atom. And as it is going to the right side, this ionic radii value decreases and the interaction is better, and then the value is also decreasing. Now the other factors, okay. Another factor is there, that is the spin orbit, that I shall not explain now. This is the spin orbit coupling, because it will take a lot of time to so you know this term spin orbit coupling, and for this spin orbit coupling, if you go from 3D to 4D and 5D, you will see that the spin orbit coupling value increases a lot. And for that reason, if you just keep the ligand same, and if you go exactly this cobalt, rhodium, and then iridium, and you will see that the del zero value increases with this from 3D to 4D. In this order, del zero value increases. And also the interelectronic repulsion. I mean, this will be taken care. So the main point is the ionic radius of this metal atom. Then you have the spin orbit coupling. So any book you will get it. I am just one point, second point, and this is you can say like interelectronic repulsion. You can say the relaxation. In both the cases, both the factors are there. One is the interelectronic repulsion is also there. And also the relaxation that the complex is forming. Relaxation also it is there. So in any standard book you will get this factor. So the del zero value now, until we have learned that it depends on the ligand. In what form? So what del zero value depends on metal and ligand. So for ligand, if you keep the metal, so sigma, so how does it overlap? Available orbital, so sigma pi interaction, and this here it is size, so ionic radii size, then electronic factor, and then you have the spin orbit coupling. So I just kept one example. So how does it, I mean, how does the problem will come to you? Like if you have this cobalt H2O whole 6, so the problem will be like this 2 plus, and you have very simple problem, just you have to think in that way. So the question is that if you have this one, then this is paramagnetic and the value corresponds to 3 unpaired electron. and this is completely diamagnetic. So explain. So the question will be like that. And this one, the question is, I mean, in 12 standard, so nobody will ask you this question, but this one may come, I mean, in a question, and this is the trick. So you have to always look at ligand system, you have to look at the metal, you have to look at the number. So you look at the metal oxidation number, you look at the ligand, you look at the ligand, number of ligand, you look at the overall charge on the complex, because that will tell you that how does this ligand actually I mean, what is the state of the ligand? Is it neutral or negatively charged or anything? So these are the things you have to check. Now, one thing I just saw that I must tell you something about the giant Taylor. So all of you, I think, have learned the giant Taylor. So what the only few points I shall just tell you, that whenever you have it, you know that we have learned when we are working with this square planar, from octahedral to square planar, we have learned how this electronic interaction take place and overlap and all these things. But if you have a orbital like this, and if this is compressed a little, or if this extend a little, so what actually happens? So it happens that it lose, I mean, in terms of symmetry, the symmetry is lowers, right? Because in that case you do not have all this for M to L, these four bond length are not now same with these two bond lengths, which is actually must happen for a perfectly octahedral structure. So the symmetry is lowered, and you can see that if it is extended, then what this looks like that. So what is the effect? So if it is Z out, means that it is this. This is very easy, but people sometimes do the mistake. So this is Z in. So if it is Z out type, then what happens that dZ2 will, I mean, feel a little lowering, lowers in the little energy, and the X2Y2 go a little up. And theoretically here also it is the same changes it's applied here. According to the Z out and Z in, the things will be a little it will alter. Now, how the questions will come? I mean, it will not say that you have this ligand and you tell whether Z out or Z in. So questions will come regarding the bond length, right? So if questions come regarding the bond length, that symmetry, that let's say M is one is with some ligand, let's say, I mean, X ligand, X is symmetry M2 X, sorry, X4 Y2, X4 Y2. This has lower symmetry than this one. If it is the questions will like that, then you have to look at this point. Now here one point again, the what you have to, sorry. So what you have to look at this particularly, that if, I mean, you can see that the things are true for non-bonding, I mean true for T2G and EG, right? So the effect is true for T2G and EG, but if you think of octahedral or tetrahedral, you this octahedral and tetrahedral for any, you can see that this is non-bonding, right? So if this is non-bonding, so it will not affect much on the bond length, so as it is in anti-bonding, so the effect is much pronounced if in some particular problem, if the this Jahn-Teller distortion is due to this, like this, I mean one electron in one of the orbital in the anti-bonding case. So these are the things that I must I think we have not covered. And for Jahn-Teller distortion, any standard book, you just go and look at book. I mean, I think your third. Yes.
Can you again explain the T2G and EG part with relation to this? I cannot understand.
So the point is that, as you can understand that if there is Z out or Z in, then there will be a difference in the energy for these states. That is clear, right?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that is clear, right? So let us take an example. Let's see. I have kept it. Yes. Just look at. Can you see these questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So look at this question, right? On the basis of molecular orbitals, explain why the MnO distance in MnO4 2 minus is longer than MnO4 minus, right? So here the system is tetrahedral. If you just, what you have to look at, you have to look at the number of ligands. So number of ligand is 4, so it is either square bracket or tetrahedral. And here I told you, I am telling you this is tetrahedral because I mean, if you find it, it will find it is a tetrahedral. So whatever may be the tetrahedral. So now you have the just see what is the this is MnO4 2 minus, so this is Mn plus 6, right? And this is Mn plus 7, right? Now this Mn plus 7, there is a 0 electron. Okay, this example will not do 0 electron and D0 system, and there is only 1 electron. So this is Jahn-Teller. No, this example will not do. So I shall see. So if you remember the molecular orbital, then this is Eg and this is T2G and this Eg star, right? Here you have this one, right? So this is Eg, ligand orbital metal, right? And this T2G we told non-bonding. And this is anti-bonding. Now, if there is a change in electron, so this is the energy change, and here also. So there, what could be the reason? So if you just take D1 system, and if you just take D9 system, let me explain. So if it is D1 system, then only 1 electron there. So it will be, if there is any Z out or Z in, then it will be under Jahn-Teller distortion, because this is a D1 system and only 1 electron. So there is a thing, so it will feel this Jahn-Teller distortion. Or if you have D9 system, Now, as the energy goes a little up, this thing, so this D9 system, if you look at the bond length parameter, for a particular D9 system, it is more affected because the Jahn-Teller distortion affects the anti-bonding orbital. And if electron has any change in anti-bonding orbital, then the bond length, I mean, according to whatever, either increases or decreases, right? And if it is happens in T2G as it is in non-bonding, it will not affect the bond length, not that much, I mean, bond length of the system. Is it clear? I mean, when the practical examples will come, you will understand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us now, I mean, the books you have, but I have taken some of the examples. So what is the time? Okay, we have a little more time. So I have kept some examples so that we will not solve all the problem here, but we will just look that what should be our approach to look at the problems. Now the point is that if you look at in any book, I mean any standard book, I know you people are also looking at the standard book, then you will see that the bonding and the electronic spectroscopy, and I mean the spectroscopy actually, and the magnetism, all are together. So it is very difficult to take out the problems only for the bonding purposes because they are interrelated, and mostly people try to understand the spectra from the bonding aspect. But there are two or three, I mean, a few questions are there, and also there are questions from spectra, and we will just look at this problem as very simple, only bonding, as from bonding aspect we will see it. So the first question is that this structure, I mean, if you have this ML4, so this would be the structure. Now, as it is written, generally transition metal complexes, they are very few. I mean, this type of complexes mostly for main group chemistry, but still we are, if it happens for this only, so determine the relative energy. So you have done it. So relative energy d orbital transition metal complex for ML4, which L is a sigma donor only. So let me give you this problem and see if the A. So if the A, so you start from ML6 octahedral. Right. So next day you just do it today, and next day when we will start the class, you just give the answer ML6 octahedral, and you just remove from one ligand from x-axis. We have done it, but axis, and one from y-axis, and then you just see what is the position of the orbital, right? For this one, you just take a TBP geometry, ML5, and remove one from z-axis. That's simple, right? So this now if you just have this D1 to D10, they have told you don't need to do it. You just take a D8 and you just do the high spin and low spin. So just do one practice, and then you will be it is very easy. So the next problem is that, I think it is clear. So it take a little time for you to, I mean, this one is very easy for that reason. Is it clear? I cannot see the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So the
ma'am.
Okay. So the next part is that you see it's very easy. So explain the order of magnitude, the del 0 values for chromium 3. So what are the factors? So one factor is fixed, that is chromium 3. Right? So these are the type. In terms of sigma and pi donor are accepted properties. So the question already told you that what is the how would you go to this? I mean, how do you explain this? So it is, you just see that F minus and Cl minus, then water, then NH3, then En and Cn. So it is obviously that you know that which one is pi donor, which one is pi acceptor. So only Cn is the pi acceptor and it is highest value, and the value is quite different from rest of the things. So you can very easily give that this is the pi acceptor, right? And once you have ammonia and En, they are neither pi acceptor nor pi donor. So almost only sigma interaction. Now, if you have these three, then from the results only you can tell that this water is very weakly pi donor. So Cn pi acceptor, and if you do some of the examples, you will know who are there. So ammonia and ethylene diamine both are sigma donor only, and then water weak pi donor. Weak pi donor, and you have Cl minus and F minus. Among these two, F minus is better pi donor than Cl minus. And you just look at this picture and you know that this is here it is just opposite. So this is pi donor and this is pi acceptor ligand, right? This is pi donor and this is pi acceptor ligand. Okay. Next question is that what I have explained. So if here what you have to do, first you have to take that octahedral Ml6, and then you have to compress along z-axis. So what would be the, so what is there in the table, and then one you have to take when octahedral complex is stretched along z-axis. So results in square planar stretch along. So you can, it can have intermediates. So just draw these intermediates as well. So one is that it is stretched. So this L, 2M. Right? So there are intermediates. And that one I explained that in tetrahedral also, I mean you have this thing and you have orbital in EG, and this is the reason for the giant Taylor distortion. Okay, the next one you just see, read this question. The solutions of the complexes cobalt NH3 whole 6. So 2 plus, right? Here it is 2 plus, here it is cobalt 2 plus, and here also cobalt, if you calculate, cobalt is 2 plus. So the metal oxidation number fixed, right? Fixed. Now look at the ligand. So first, what is the ligand? Ligands are different. First point, ligands are different. From first two to the third one, number of ligands is different. right? So now how do you think? So color we will
Ma'am, you are not audible.
so from where shall I start? Will anyone tell me from where I have to start? I mean, what till
Ma'am, you were discussing the factors, chromium problem, that the number of ligands are different.
so this one, I mean, this cobalt, ammonia, and water.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here this cobalt ammonia, okay, let me explain it again. Okay, I'm explaining it here, right? So you have cobalt, ammonia, whole 6, 2 plus. You have cobalt, water, whole 6, 2 plus. You have cobalt, Cl4, 2 minus, right? Now it says that this is pink, this is yellow, and this is blue. Now if you like to see that it is VGO, right? So, and the concept is that if you have these type of things, then if you have one electron and it goes to the higher state T2G2 Eg, I mean if it is not filled, and it will go, and these energy either del zero, or if it is like these, then these energy del T, these energy will be absorbed, I mean from here to here. So is it okay? I mean still internet is there? Okay, let me keep it like this. So this depends on the value, depends on the how much energy is absorbed. Now the energy, so if you are giving some energy is absorbed, you are giving light, and the rest of the thing is coming back to you. So for this much energy is coming back to you, because blue is at the higher energy, right? Why? Because this del T is very less, and it is absorbing this energy and going to the upper level, and the most of the energy is coming back to your eyes. Now this NH and water, if you just see that yellow color has more energy than pink, and then you can understand that if you take water, then this is the del zero, and if you take ammonia, then this is the del zero. So more energy is absorbed from here to go from here to here than from here to here. So less energy is, it is very very layman understanding, but this is the fact. So less energy is coming back, back to you. Is it clear? Please respond. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we have a little. So let us see this question. So now here these questions. If we just see that a neutral macrocyclic ligand with 4 donor atoms. Okay, so 4 donor atoms means either tetrahedral or square planar, right? So immediately what will come to your mind? Either tetrahedral or square planar, or it may have, if it is not fits with the other things, then you can think of this butterfly or all these things. So red diamagnetic. Diamagnetic means there is no unpaired electron. So go with this. So first D8. D8 means, and you know the number of electron, and then diamagnetic, so no unpaired electron. Of nickel 2, and if the anion is the weakly coordinated perchlorate ion. When perchlorate is replaced by 2 thiocyanate ion, the complex turns violet and is high spin with 2 unpaired electrons. So this problem you just think, and I shall come back to you next. I mean, you can do it. I mean, this easy. You can do it, but please think of it. then what is happening? Why so fast that it is diamagnetic to paramagnetic? And you can see that theoretically what they are telling, that this is the anion of the thing, right? So anion is perchlorate ion. So initially it is anion is perchlorate ion, and the original ligand they are telling is the macrocyclic ligand. So if it is MH2O whole 6, let's say, in that way, if this is like this, so if I change Cl to HCN or perchlorate, there should not be any effect on the coordination environment as such. But what is happening that when the anions is replaced, the complex turns violet. So there must be some other changes that you think. And it is going to high spin with 2 unpaired electrons, that you have to think. Okay. Okay, the bearing the bind Jahn-Teller theorem predict the structure of chromium H2O whole 6. So here what you have to do, here you just take the orbital, d orbital, electronic environment, and with time you have learned that water is weak field ligand. So what will be the number of electrons in T2G and EG, that you find out and then you predict. The last one is again the same. It is very easy question, and it comes to win, I mean, in many of the net or everything, that the D1. So D1 Ti3 plus is attributed to a single electronic transition. So someone has asked me that what is the T2G difference due to this bonding aspect. So the Jahn-Teller affects things in different way. Like if you your compound is prone to Jahn-Teller. Prone to Jahn-Teller means it do not have perfect number. Do not have total symmetry. Like if you have T2G and if you have exact electron in T2G6, it will have no Jahn-Teller. But if you have these, you can say that, ma'am, even if all the ligands are same, even if all the ligands are same, then also as 2 electrons are approaching from 2 sides, but one of the orbital is experiencing the electronic repulsion from one side, so there is Jahn-Teller distortion. Now, what I told you first, that if you are thinking of changing bond length, then if it is in T2G, as it is non-bonding, it does not affect too much. But if it is in spectra, like in D6, so D6 you have D1 system, and the electron can goes to there or electron can goes to there. Now, if you have a D1 system, then this D1 system breaks in these two. So these energy remain the same. So it can go from here or it can go from here. So in that case, what happens? In D1 system, electronic spectra, you are supposed to see only one peak. But no, you just see 2 peaks. And they are very close in energy. But this is the measure of that energy difference between these 2 pairs in Jahn-Teller. So these two, this energy difference is reflected over this energy difference. Is it clear? So is it clear, the gentle, or how does it affect? Okay. So I think let us stop today, and if you have any questions regarding this bonding, please read it, and then Thursday we can keep a little time for this discussion. Otherwise, I shall look at this what are left for the bonding aspect, and we will go to the electronic spectrum. Okay, thank you.